Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to people throughout the community and the city schools and the city government and also the county, some representatives there. We did shows on Habitat for Humanity and also the new apartments on Seville Road. And hopefully you watched those shows, or if you didn't, you can still catch them. And we, of course, did the Dwight Powers last Monday on the big parade and all the festivities here in the Match area for Wadsworth. Steve Moore is with us, the Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Wadsworth. Steve, thanks very much for joining me and looking forward to all your information you're going to provide.
Thanks, Bruce. I'm glad to be here, excited to be here.
What about your educational background? Can we start there?
Sure. So, Bruce, I like a lot of people in education, you start out getting your teaching degree, which is what I did. I was a math teacher, got a math teaching degree at Kent State, is where I'm a Portage County guy. I grew up in Gertzville and got my degree at Kent State. And then once you get into education and get your teaching degree, and you start working towards a master's on something, and I started getting my master's in administration pretty right away out of college, because I wanted to keep doing up and then just something else to do and kind of do that. Didn't really think I had was going to be a principal ever, but I got it in administration, got it at Akron, my master's in administration, and then I got my superintendent's license also through Akron, and I did that, and I've had that, really both those licenses for about 15, 20 years now. It's 20 years as a principal and 15 years as a superintendent license when I've had them available.
I imagine those positions gave you kind of a foundation and a different way of looking at issues and problems within the school.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So again, you have the classes and you get the education, but nothing like getting the administrative positions. Once you get those administrative positions, you start seeing a lot of different areas in the district that are really intriguing and to see.
Years ago, I was on the North Central evaluation team, and we looked at Highland schools, and I think you were there.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's where I started my career. I started teaching math at Highland High School in 1992. It's hard to believe it's been that long. Started there, and then I taught for 6 years, became athletic director at Highland for 3 years. And that time, I was still working on my certification for administration, so it was a supplemental contract is what the athletic director's job was. And from there, then I went into Brunswick. I went for a year. I was assistant principal and athletic director. And at Brunswick's a much bigger school than Highland, and it's bigger than Wadsworth. We had 5 assistant principals at the high school, 1 for each grade. I was the 5th one, and my main responsibility was athletics there. Did that, and I loved my time at Highland. It was great. I loved my time at Brunswick, but I've been living in Wadsworth since 1992. And when the Wadsworth athletic director job came open, then I came to Wadsworth in, I think it was 2002 was my first year. And I know that as I interviewed at Wadsworth 3 days after the birth of my daughter. My youngest daughter was born in 2002 in May, and she was born on May 1st. I interviewed on May 4th and got the job here.
As time has gone on, it seems to be very difficult to get coaches, competent coaches in all areas, especially maybe the younger middle school grades.
It is. It's become challenging. When I was athletic director in 2002, and I was athletic director for 5 years here, it was hard then. It's even more hard now. It's just more challenging for coaches to get in it and stay in it. And for a lot of reasons. There's some positive reasons. Again, you commit a lot of time when you're a coach. And our coaches here especially commit a lot of time in season and off season. And it's very challenging at the middle school level. What's been great here, and you see it in our girls basketball program, we've had the same coaches for a long time. And that continuity just is great and helps build some of that. You see it in the programs that have been very successful here to do that. And it's challenging. Some people leave coach because of family commitments, and others, it takes a certain person to do it. You get a lot of grief sometimes being a coach, and so it's in and out sometimes, but it is what it is, and they've had some very huge success. Been a part of bringing Andy Booth on board here at Wadsworth, which was really nice. Been a part of bringing Justin Todd on as a football coach. So those are really exciting. Some of our huge successes we've had.
And then you, I think, moved to the principalship.
Yeah.
And from those elevated positions, you kind of get a broader look. And athletics, you're kind of looking at all the sports that we sponsor. But as principal, you have a different lens, I think. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. From athletic director, I went on to, I was associate principal. So we're just dealing with kids, dealing with discipline, which you start understanding when you're an assistant principal or associate principal. You understand the family dynamic and the community dynamic. It was an eye opener. You go from dealing with just athletes and coaches to now you're dealing with athletes and coaches and everyone else as well. The arts, athletics, academics, discipline, family life, challenges for families, and it was awesome to see and deal with and work with a different group of people. That was really, and I did that for 6 years before I became principal at the high school, and I was head principal at the high school for 8 years. And you're exactly right, Bruce. The amount of depth or width of knowledge that you have to have and the experiences that you get with our community and our stakeholders, from the kids to the teachers to the community to the board members to other administrators in the district, families in crisis, families not in crisis, but just needing help for college or it just is a wide variety, and it's a much bigger lens to have that, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Now you step up to assistant superintendent several years ago, and your lens gets even broader, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you look at district-wide.
Yeah, I didn't really. I spent 29 years at the high school level, from teaching all the way up to I was principal, and then 2 years ago took over as assistant superintendent. I was fortunate enough to do that, and my very first day, when school opened the first day, one of our elementary principals was sick, and I had to go be elementary principal at Valley View for the first week of school. What an eye-opening experience that was. Going from the high school level to the K through 4 level, it was just unbelievable. And the last 2 years of really seeing the district-wide and what everyone does at elementary level, intermediate school, and middle school, you think you see it, but then you don't until you really start delving into it. And it was just amazing. It was amazing. And the teachers at Valley View, and when I walk through there, they laugh at me still because I was just shell-shocked at how much and how well, and not teachers and staff, everyone they just jump in and they got to do things. They just get it done. And they had no principal for the first week, and they got it done, and it was amazing to see what they did. But the district level now, I'm starting to see things at a much different, much broader area, and and expanding, and I've loved it. It's really helped me grow as an administrator and a community member and a person here in our district. But I've thoroughly enjoyed that because I'm now able to help different parts of our school community, so I've really enjoyed that. I truly miss being high school principal. There's nothing like being high school principal at Wadsworth City Schools. It's a great, I've said this every day that I was high school principal. We have the greatest high school in the state of Ohio. It's because of our people. And I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it a lot. I miss it. I miss being in charge of a building. But now I enjoy a lot working with staff, and that's really what I do primarily now. I work with our staff on trying to get them things that they need to be successful and really try to work with them a lot on everything. So that's been my main focus as assistant superintendent. I've enjoyed it, but it's been, from and you think about it because our high school is so big, the small confines of our high school to now the large confines of our district. So it's been tremendous.
No question. I can empathize. When I was a supervisor of student teachers, and I think I had some students in your building, and then being assigned a kindergarten teacher, and all the tasks and all the decision making they make. It is just unbelievable, and what those teachers do with their creativity, imagination. It's just a new appreciation I had for the elementary schools.
No doubt about it. Because and at the high school, again, it's different issues, it's different problems, but you could always just tell a kid, hey, I need you to sit over on the side here for a little bit. I need you to calm down. We'll talk when you're ready. Well, at the elementary, they don't do that. Elementary kids, they haven't been able to sit down. The elementary staff is on the go all day long. I mean, it's from the start, from the moment kids walk in until they leave and get in the right car, they are on the go all the time, and the staff is supervising them. And our staff does a great job, from custodian to maintenance worker to cafeteria worker to the teacher to secretary. They know what's going on in those buildings, and it's amazing to see. It really is.
I understand you had a role as assistant superintendent with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Can you explain what your task was?
Yeah, that was a very challenging time. There's no doubt about that. So the role that we had when, again, going through it as I was high school principal and assistant superintendent, really was, we had to make sure that we had to follow the guidelines. And, and I know there's a lot, we can debate for hours on the guidelines, but we took the approach that we're going to follow the health guidelines that are given, within reason. We challenged them when we needed to challenge them, but we ultimately said, we're going to follow those guidelines and make sure that our people do. And a lot of it was, cleaning of the buildings. We went from just cleaning the building after school to you're cleaning it during the day as well, and everyone had to be a part of that. I mean, teachers were part of it. Obviously, the custodian and maintenance staff was part of it. At the upper levels, the students helped. So we had to wipe down desks. I mean, there were some guidelines that, looking back on it, certainly seem foolish now. But the reality is that cleaning your building, there's never a bad thing to do. Whether it was COVID or whether it was not, you can always clean and disinfect, and whether COVID or the flu or whatever it is, you just got to do that. So it was challenging. The space issues, and we're still dealing with that. Moving desks, getting them, and you had to take desks apart. You had to take them out of the rooms. You had to space out. What our administrative team did and our custodians and maintenance staff did, was really amazing to get it so that we could really be in school. It was our whole focus during all of that, was to be in school and do what we had to do so that we could have our teachers in front of our kids and doing that. It was challenging. It was the toughest 2 years in education that we've had, for sure, but it was nice to get it done. We were in school. We just had to have it. Now, it was challenging. It was a very stressful time for everyone involved, but it was good. I'm glad that we are on the other side of it. At least we appear to be on the other side of it. And we've still used some of our, we still do some more cleaning than we did before COVID. I mean, so it had some good things out of it and got us some different things, and it's helped our staff, and we got some more staffing for it, and but it's been good with that.
Steve, we've touched on it before, but let's talk a little bit more about how vital the support staff is. I think, they're kind of the unsung heroes of the district, and if they don't do their job, then it kind of minimizes the effectiveness of our teaching staff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Our support staff is wonderful people here. I mean, and we have lots of different groups that help. Some that you see and some that you don't see. But we have about 300 teachers, and we have about 360 support staff. Right. So it's this equal amount. It's actually a little bit more, but it is phenomenal what they do. Because you think about it, we pick kids up at school, we pick them up at their door, and we take them back to their door. And then in the meantime, we're feeding them, we're cleaning the areas, we're making sure that some kids need a little extra help, so we have aides and attendants that are helping them.
Transporting them,
and we're walking them through depending on what their needs are. And some have higher needs than others, but our support staff does a great job in really getting them going. And you can see it, you think about it, when you call our buildings, who are you talking to? You're talking to our secretaries. And our secretaries in the buildings, it's truly amazing what they do. They know all the kids. They know the kids, they learn the situations. Nothing more scary than, hey, they're changing a bus and really, change transportation home for an elementary kid. 5 minutes before that happens, our secretaries make it happen. And they do a great job of doing it and communicating it to the people that need to know. The secretaries are the lifeblood of what has to happen, and they do a great job with dealing with that.
And they help principals out too, don't they?
They do, absolutely.
And help out
they do.
A lot for me when I was in that position.
Well, yeah, and you have, again, teachers that miss classes, our aides and attendants help doing it, and our secretaries help guiding all that, helping guiding it for our aides and attendants. And our aides, they pick up the slack. They do whatever's needed, and it doesn't matter what building it is. They just do great things with it. One of the things that I'm dealing with now is our maintenance and custodial. You think that it's summertime that we don't get things done. Take a break. Everything. Our summer is busy. This job for me now is I'm busier now in the month of June than I will be in the month of September because we have to get everything ready. And our custodial staff cleans every room. They take everything out. They wipe everything down, get it all ready, put it back. The maintenance staff has to get has a great opportunity to get all the things put back together. All the things that break down or whatever, they get it done doing projects. We have a lot of movement. When a teacher moves a classroom, that's a lot of stuff that has to be moved. And we have quite a bit of movement this year, probably more so than we've had in a long time, is moving around because we're adding a Grizzly Academy, which is an alternative school. We've been sending kids out at pretty good cost to our district. So our Board of Education and our school leaders decided, let's bring some back. We're going to do a Grizzly Academy. It's going to be at our admin building. It's going to be K through 4 students. Erin Simpson, who was our overlook principal, she's going to be the principal of it. So we got a lot of work to get all that ready, and her team has been doing that. Our maintenance staff has been doing it, trying to get, and we have some outside contractors that come and help, but get that building ready for a major makeover. We're putting preschool all back in Overlook. It was in 2 buildings. It's all going back into 1. So a lot of projects that are going on there.
Steve, you never mentioned about the grass, all the acres and acres of grass we had.
Well,
and of course, graduation, you had to make it look really nice for graduation. So that adds more hours, right?
Well, it does, and we have a grounds crew. That's part of our maintenance team. We hire a couple of summer help or fall, spring through the fall help to help do that, some part-time guys. But it's when you have 9 buildings, again, and we'd like it to be better. We'd like it to be, you want it to be perfect, and it's not perfect because it's a lot of things going on to do that. But we try to focus on getting the grounds, some of those special occasions, obviously graduation. We move it down to the stadium, but you have 3,000 to 4,000 people coming onto your campus just for that day alone. So they do a lot of work to get it. It takes a lot of people, but the guys and gals that are right there doing it, and our custodial makes the stage look nice. Our maintenance crew has the chairs and we line them up, and and we take parents. We have parent volunteers and we have administration help, and so it's really a nice thing to have in gear to go. It's a lot. It's a lot to get done, and the equipment. It's not easy to get all the equipment in gear. We got 2 mechanics that work out of the bus garage. They keep the buses and the fleets, but they're working on the lawnmowers. They're working on everything to get it all done. It just takes a lot of moving parts, and it's exciting to be part of. It's daunting to be in charge of, but it really is. It's exciting to be part of it because we just got some really, really good people.
Steve, I'm really amazed at the safety record of our drivers. Not just the bus driver, and certainly they're a big part of it, but we have all sorts of other vans and other vehicles taking kids hither and yon. And I can't remember when a Wadsworth employee was involved in an accident and their fault.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's few and far between, and it's amazing. What our drivers do, our bus, because we have 22 routes that go out every day, regular routes, and they're covering hundreds of miles every day. What I was able to do the last 2 years is just be part of and watch. Jesse Widmer is our transportation coordinator. What they do on the race to make sure that everyone gets home safely. It is crazy. It's hectic, but they do a great job. The bus drivers and the vehicle drivers, because we have another 8 to 10 vans that go out and take kids home, and how they coordinate it and to get it all there. And again, always some kind of communication. A kid decided to walk home today instead of ride the bus. Well, at the high school level, okay, that's fine, but at the elementary level, they keep track of every single one, and they do a great job. And all the trips that we have, athletic trips. Again, every day something's going on and something's happening. Our drivers do a phenomenal job, and it's really truly might be the toughest job in the district. They have to focus on the road while you have 30 to 50 kids behind you, and in the beginning of the day, they're a little sleepy, but at the end of the day, they're not.
Right.
And they're just, again, it's a challenge, and they do a good job of managing that. And it's, we have a few aides that ride buses with us when we have to, but it's challenging. But they do a phenomenal job getting them there where they need to do.
Sometimes inclement weather, they're dealing with that.
Oh, yeah.
And drivers that might not be as courteous as they could be.
Yep.
So all that, they do a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and I know that everyone loves a good snow day, but we really don't want to have a snow day.
No.
Our maintenance crew comes in at 4 o'clock in the morning, start plowing the drives and for us in the morning, and our head custodians and custodians come in 5 o'clock in the morning, start shoveling sidewalks. So we it costs quite a bit of money to have a snow day, and we don't want to have snow days.
Right.
I say that, and I know all the kids out there watching are like, come on, Mr. Moore, let's go. We'd like a good snow day. Which again, I get that, but you want to keep everything open, so it's challenging. The drivers that have to drive in that weather, again, they take their time. You just got to be patient with them. Safety of the buses, you see it all the time on the news. Somebody drives around a bus. You just got to be careful, and you just got to give them their way.
What is your role in hiring new staff members?
Yeah. Well, I am the HR department here at Wadsworth.
Congratulations.
It is very, very involved. I help run. I set up the teams. I run our interview process for just about everyone that gets hired. I don't do the actual hiring. Dr. Hill, he's the one that offers the job.
And he's got a poker face.
Yeah, absolutely, he does. He does. Our task as our team is to work with our principals and our supervisors to get 2 candidates, 2 finalists for almost every job, especially teaching. And so we interview. Again, we're currently in the process of entering for a maintenance supervisor. We'll take 25 applicants. We'll narrow it down to a smaller group. We'll interview them. We'll put them through the paces, and we get 2 finalists to Dr. Hill, and he also makes the final decision.
And Wadsworth takes that whole process very seriously.
We do because
we probably need some people. We probably need more drivers and maybe substitute cafeteria workers. Maybe we could put a plug for those folks now.
If you're looking to do anything, to be part of with the school system, please reach out to me at the Assistant Superintendent's office at Central Office. We have a job for you, whether it's sub. And again, that's how a lot of people start in there. They start subbing with us to see what the jobs are. We'll put you to work. We have some opportunities, cafeteria helpers. We have playground aides. Anything that they're willing to do, we'll be willing to do that. Just reach out, and we'll try to make it. It takes a lot of people to run a district, and we need them.
Maybe a retired teacher would want to work a couple, 3 days a week, and maybe they have an elementary background. And then people get sick. I mean, we can't have a pat hand every day. People get sick. Emergencies happen in each family, and you're aware of that. And we need to plug the gaps.
Yeah,
right?
and I tell you, we've done a nice job this past year. 2 years ago was brutal. This past year, substitute teachers, we're getting those. But the substitute support staff we desperately need, because when an aide goes down, it's hard to get a sub. And again, if you're willing to just work 3 hours a day, 5 hours a day, whatever, we'll put you to work. Be really good for that.
The community stepped up to the plate, Steve, and we passed 5th and 6th grade, and also it was kind of a combination of operating monies and also building, and we got that done, as you're well aware of. Where are we? Are we going to have groundbreaking coming up?
That's a great question. We are actually, yes, it's been a slow process doing the design and getting ready. We're actually, today, they are out there taking the stumps down. I know the trees came down a while ago. They're actually starting to do some site work on there here today and into next week. We do have a groundbreaking ceremony set. It's July 6th. At 6 o'clock in the evening. We've sent out some information to our community, but everyone's invited. July 6th, it will be out in front of the high school, right on the CIS where it's going to be, where we'll have it all set there. You'll start seeing some dirt being moved here next week, it appears. If not next week, the weekend before. But July 6th at 6 o'clock in the evening, we'll have a brief ceremony with some groundbreaking. But you'll start seeing some more action up there here in the very near future. It won't be long. And you'll start seeing the building come out of the ground. It's been a challenging, just to get to this point, it's a lot of prep work, a lot of behind-the-scenes work. Obviously, everyone's aware of the BAT study that we had to have, and that's all passed. We are all ready to go. the final trees are coming down, and we're getting ready to be A-OK with that project here in the near future. Obviously, still working through budget issues and budget items. That'll be ongoing for the next 2 years. But as of today, we're on track to open up in the fall of 2025, and we still hope that happens. And we're excited about it. I know that our teachers are as well.
That sure speaks volumes about our community, how it steps up when a lot of districts had trouble and people were cut back hours or lost their jobs or chose to retire early during COVID. And we passed that issue, and people just kind of came together and felt that it was needed, and we got it done.
Well, and they did. And I tell you what's so proud, and I tell all of our new employees, what you're coming into is a community that's unlike any other. It's a demanding community. They demand a lot out of us as a school district, and we work really hard for it, but they reward us all the time. And that's a great example. The toughest time to pass a levy, we just went through, and we did it. And our community has always supported us. They demand things, which is great because we like to perform and want to have everything good for them, but they are demanding, but they will support, and they are supportive of us no matter what. And it's really, really good. And, Dr. Hill and our Board of Education have done a great job of holding us accountable, holding everybody accountable school-wise, so that the community trusts us. And that's a big part of it. In today's world right now, there's not a lot of trust, and it's happening. We feel we have it. We have plenty of issues, but we pretty transparent, at least we think we are, and I think our community has told that time and time again that we are with them.
Seymour, Assistant Superintendent, thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. And again, unlike other people, this is like you indicated early, this is a very busy time for you, and I thank you for all your attention to detail and doing a super job for Wadsworth City Schools.
Bruce,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate it.
And thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose, and we'll be back next year. We're hoping to see the new fire station on College Street. So please join us then.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.